Greetings, traveler. Have you ever been in a situation where you want to present your amazing game design proposal to your boss or to the company leader or to anybody who you think has power over whether you can make or not this game? And when you get to present that amazing idea, it simply gets rejected. You get a big no, the red light, you cannot move forward with this game proposal or game feature proposal or whatever it is you're presenting, and that simply gets you down. And it feels like you can never get out of that feeling. Well, I certainly have been there, and I did manage to find a way to work through this and make it work for my advantage instead. So today, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about three things specifically. First, how this situation typically happens, how this rejection comes to be. Second, why it makes us feel so bad. Why do we feel this very strong negative feeling whenever a rejection like that happens. And three, how this is actually a good thing when it happens and how there is a way to use it, even if it seems 100% negative at face value. My name is Xanthos. I've been working in the games industry for over 14 years now. And typically, when we work on game design, we have to make proposals for new ideas, right? Either these ideas are for new games altogether, or if the game is already existing, we have to make new monsters, new abilities, new systems, all sorts of things for populating the content of the game. And if you're a very senior person, then maybe you're presenting this idea to the CEO of the company or an investor or somebody or the producer or somebody who basically gets to say whether you can go ahead with this idea or not. If you're on a more junior level, then you either thought of a new weapon or a mechanic or something to add to the game. You put your proposal together and then you present it to the game director or the lead designer or a person like that to get their feedback on whether you can proceed with the idea or not. And regardless the case, the answer can very much be a no. And in our culture, getting the no is such a negative thing. Nobody wants to get the no. Everybody wants to get yes every time, all the time, always and forever. So if we don't get the yes and we get the no instead, we get to step two. We get to this very, very negative feeling. But why is that feeling so negative? If somebody rejects our proposal, if we think about it, nothing changed in the world. We didn't lose anything. Nothing happened. We still have our health. We're still as we were before. So why does it feel so negative? In my experience, the reason why it feels so negative is because if we just take it, or when I used to take it at face value, it it feels like somebody is not rejecting the idea, they're rejecting me specifically. So everything I represent, because I put so much effort into the idea and I try to make it as good as possible, and this represents perhaps the best I can do or the best I could do at the time. So when we hear the no, that feels like it's not just the proposal that's wrong, it's myself, 100% of me that's wrong. And of course, when you frame it that way, it sounds ridiculous, and there's no way a proposal equates to a person. So when we understand that no to a proposal is nothing but that, it's that somebody doesn't like the proposal in its current state, and for that specific person. Then we can start to see that, well, even if someone says no to a proposal, that already means two things, right? It doesn't mean that another person would also say no to the same proposal. And even if we're still talking about the same person who said no the first time, perhaps on a second try or a third try, they might say yes. You never know. And you can never know all the reasons why somebody rejected the proposal. Um, this is a tricky subject, so let me give you a bonus story. The way I know it is that Coca-Cola would try to come up with new flavors and for the drink. And when they would present the flavors to the test drinkers, they would ask them, Do you like the flavor? And people would say, yeah, sure, it's good. But they found that that had no correlation whatsoever with whether people would buy that new flavor when it was on the shelf on a supermarket or something. So, what does this tell us? What was the point of this research? It's that even if you ask someone about their answer to a given topic, and even if that someone answers truthfully and honestly, there is a very good chance that their answer doesn't cover 100% of their thoughts, of their experience, and of their behavior, and of their future behavior as well. And there's no malice here. Nobody was trying to lie. Nobody was trying to hide everything. It's just the way us humans function. So if you ask someone, even if you were to ask someone, why don't you like the proposal? And they give you some feedback, of course, it's not that the feedback is wrong or it's bad, but it might not cover 100% of the true reason why it was rejected in that instance. So now that we have covered all these topics in step two, so why it makes us feel so bad when we get rejected on anything in life, and specifically in game design, then we can move to the third part and find out how we can actually gain from this and make it serve us instead of us having to bear this horrible, horrible feeling instead. So what I found out is that when I framed this situation in this way, that the other person, even if they're rejecting the proposal, they might not be just the right person for the proposal. Perhaps they are not the right target audience for this idea. Perhaps they are not in the right mood right now to hear an idea or to hear anything at all. You don't know what's happening in their day. You don't know what's happening in their life, in the background. You have no idea what's in their head. So uh, a single rejection doesn't mean anything potentially. Perhaps it does, but you certainly cannot assume. So, and keeping in mind that you can always try again, both with the same person and with other people, and of course, while after brushing up your idea and presenting it to other people too, then there's nothing saying that the same idea could not get a yes in the future. So it's definitely worth asking again, even if you got an initial rejection in the first place. But you might be asking, well, how do I get the motivation to go at it again? Because I already got a rejection from one person. One person would be perhaps has authority, perhaps has more experience than me in this subject. Perhaps I value their opinion so much because they're so senior and because they know all these things. So how do I get the motivation to ask again? Well, there's actually one extremely good thing that happens with every rejection. You get experience. And nobody talks about that. Everybody just wants to get the yes the first time around and every time whenever they talk to anyone. Our culture glorifies yeses to an extreme degree, and nobody wants to be the loser. Nobody wants to be rejected and not get what they thought, perhaps mistakenly so, of what they could get. So another reason I think why this happens is we don't want others to see us fail. We don't want our colleagues to see that we got rejected on something. We don't want our friends to know that we didn't get the job or the interview or the proposal or whatever passed. We don't want our family to know. We don't want anyone to know we failed. And that also, I think, ties to the ego and our idea of ourselves. We always think of ourselves as good or perfect or positive in any case. So we're really afraid of our social status and how others think of us. And here is where I discovered that I had these beliefs and I was conveniently leaving out the most important part of these beliefs. And this is it. Let's say you have an actor and this actor makes 10 movies and all these 10 movies suck. Like nobody watches them, nobody loves them. They get bad ratings, just all around bad. But then let's say this actor takes the experience from all these 10 so-called failed movies and makes a masterpiece. And everybody loves it, box office hits, great forever, becomes a classic. And now everybody gets to know that actor because he had a success worth talking about. And that is the only thing worth talking about when we're talking about this one actor, right? So nobody really discusses the failures as much because, especially when you're doing a new, crazy, ambitious endeavor, failure is almost guaranteed, right? You fail again and again and again until you succeed. And when you succeed, that's where the value is. That's the greatness. That's where this absurdly disproportionate value is attached to the yes, and nobody wants to get the no. But every no brings you closer to the yes. And that's the part that I was conveniently forgetting. So what this means for our game design scenario is that perhaps you'll present 10 ideas and all 10 of them are going to get shut down. And then if you're like me, you would be feeling, oh man, all my ideas are horrible and nobody likes them. What am I going to do? But the biggest crime in this situation is to not use the experience that comes with all these proposals, all these attempts, because it is exactly that experience that builds up to the yes. Gathering the feedback, thinking about it, brushing up the proposal, showing it to other people, listening for everyone's feedback, asking different types of people, so designers, engineers, artists, sound people, business people, marketing people, even HR. Why not? Friends, family, and so on. All of these conversations, um, little by little, they add experience to your pool. And when that experience reaches a certain level, then your work reaches that level. And from that point on, your work is always of that level or higher because you gather the experience. Another bonus trick here is to shift your perception of the proposal a little bit and not think of it so much as a proposal that has to go through. You have to get the yes, you must succeed or else, because the or else part is frankly non existent. If you have a conversation with someone and you don't get what you thought you would get, you haven't changed. You still have everything you had before. It's still you. So not only you haven't lost anything, but you've gained the experience. So that's really important to keep in mind. The change in the perception, the shifting perception here is to think of these conversations not as a conversation for getting something, but simply as an opportunity to get feedback. Instead of saying, hey, this is my proposal and you must accept it, instead saying, by the way, I have this proposal. What do you think about it? Do you think it would make a good, I don't know, new feature for the game, or would it make a new game, a good new game to try and develop, and so on? So we're not offering it as a must pass 100% correct proposal. Instead, it's an invitation to have a dialogue, right? And little by little, doing these conversations, gathering the experience, brushing up the proposal, becoming better at presentation and composition of the idea and all these sub skills. When you present that proposal and it's of good quality exactly because of the experience you gathered, and even if you present it as a simple conversation of like, by the way, what do you think about this? And the proposal is good, then the other person will be motivated to push it forward. And that is where the magic happens. That is where you just walk away from the conversation and you think, what just happened? I wasn't even trying to convince anyone. I was just gathering feedback. Because the truth is that people are hungry for good ideas, well put together presentations, strong products, fun games, original concepts, and so on. People are hungry for these things, and everybody wants to see them. Everybody wants to watch an exciting new movie, right? The problem is that there's not too many exciting new movies. Like out of 10 times you go to the cinema, only a few times you see a truly exciting movie. The rest of the time you're left with the hope and the desire, the expectation to see something great, but it was all right most of the time. So when you're having conversations with people about game features or game ideas, the other person wants to hear the most amazing idea ever. And if you happen to present it, then that person is so much more motivated to adopt it and to push it forward. So once I started having this kind of results, I knew that seeing the conversation for the proposal is not really an attempt to get a yes or a no. It's a golden opportunity for me to gather the experience necessary to be able to put my work at that level and to be able to provide exactly what other people are hoping for, and they can't seem to get it anywhere else. Anyway, I know this is a difficult topic. Navigating these emotions is never easy because emotions just surface, right? We never call for them; they just appear. And I think it's a shame to stop your creativity, traveler, and to stop yourself from doing your best work just because of an emotion, especially when the job of the emotion is there to tell you that you know you can gain something out of it. Don't leave it as it is. Try to scoop up all the beautiful experience and learning you can from this, because that is going to what's going to serve you in the future. uh, getting beat down and not moving forward doesn't serve anything. You're losing the opportunity. So I hope this motivates you to see things in a more positive light and for the really, really amazing opportunities that they are. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope this helps at least one other person out there. If you have more questions about this, if you have an emotion that you're really, really struggling with in terms of game development and it's really stopping you from moving forward, please let me know about it. Perhaps I'll be able to share my experiences in that as well. As always, thank you so much for watching and have fun.